Alrighty, welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 1 version of the visual novel. So, where we last left off, we listened to a couple of tips after we ended the very first chapter of the game. So yeah, let's continue and see what we have. I'm guessing viewing the tips has knowing the countryside in Japan, I guess. Some good old stuff. Alright, let's continue. Now we're on the second part. I took it a little too easy on the morning of my day off. I was totally late. Today was the day Reina and Mion were going to show me around Hinamizawa. Reina and Mion were finally waiting at the meeting place. Kei-chan, you're late! Sorry, the show I was watching last night was really interesting. Blame Dad. Oh, so that's your excuse for being late and keeping two girls waiting. Mi-chan, you just got here yourself. Ha 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 ha. Last night's episode of A Diary in a Life of was interesting, wasn't it? She was just as guilty as me. Reina was carrying a pretty heavy-looking handbag. What is that? Neon answered my unspoken question with a wink. That's right, Reina really did make a picnic. Kei-chan, after you left, Reina pulled out all the stops. It's not like I forced her to do it. It was nothing, so don't worry about it, okay? She's been like this since last night, you know? Can you take responsibility for this? Alright, I am a man after all. I'll take responsibility. Huh? Responsibility? For what? For what? As we both turned around slowly to look at Reina, our gazes drifted downwards to the massive handbag she was carrying. It didn't seem logically feasible that it would be entirely filled with lunchboxes, except this was Reina we were talking about here. About 2 kilos, I guess. When Reina was picking it up, I could see she was struggling a bit. I say 5. You're exaggerating. Keiichi-kun is a boy after all. I thought he could probably eat a lot, so I made a lot, okay? Let's get going. Heave-ho! Just from the way she was lifting it up, I couldn't believe the only things in there were lunch boxes. Correction, I say 5 kilos too. I'll help out, but all of it needs to be eaten. I won't forgive you if you make Reina sad, got it? The only thing I could do at that moment was exercise a bit to make myself hungrier. Oh boy. Having finished with the pleasantries, we began our leisurely stroll. A carefree talk bathed in the gentle morning sunlight. I couldn't have even imagined something so wholesome existed during my time in the city. These were the boonies after all. No slovenly desk jockeys trudging to work on the weekends out there. It really was a nice place, peaceful and quiet. As sparsely populated as the village was, you could still run into people just by walking around. Yeah. Ah, good day. Good day. Oh, you would be Maibara-kun, I believe? My two companions exchanged greetings with everybody as we ran. My two companions exchanged greetings with everybody we ran across. All of these passerby even knew my name. When did I become this famous? Yeah, good question. We passed 3 people and when all 3 of them knew me, I started to feel a bit paranoid. It's a bit sad to say. Everyone knows everyone since there are so few people here in Hinamizawa. So that means when an unfamiliar face walks by, they automatically assume it's that Maibara fella who just moved here? Yeah, that's how it works out. It was a process of elimination you could only pull off in a place like this, but it was quite effective. From now on, I better make sure to maintain a good reputation. Excuse me, the day I'm discovered accidentally gawking at a dirty magazine in the bookstore, I can expect all the villagers labeling me as a lech by the next day. Hinamizawa is not to be trifled with. That's not the end of this nightmare. Of course I know them. The first person we met was Old Man Takizawa from the Makino bike shop. His hobbies are bonsai and playing the flute. Next we met the grocer's second son, Daisuke-kun. His hobby is sharpshooting, and he hopes to be an ace sniper in the future. And the person we just met was Mio-san, the nurse from the clinic. Oh, fucking Mio-san? The fuck? Her hobbies are birdwatching and photography. You know the names of everyone we pass by. And even their profiles? Oh boy, you know the names of everyone we pass by, even their profiles, oh boy. Seeing my surprise, Mion and Reina exchanged looks and burst into laughter. Well, yeah, we're not like the city where people hardly know their neighbors. Then let's try it out. You there, who am I? Ha 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 ha. You're Keiichi Maibara. You say some mean things, but you're actually a kind, shy person. It's been 3 weeks since you traveled. It's been 3 weeks since you transferred here. Your hobby is taking afternoon naps. Lately, you switched over to wearing boxers, hadn't you? That's enough, that's enough. Boxers. Enough of that. Apparently there is absolutely nothing you can keep hidden here. Hinamizawa was not a place to be trifled with. Wow. This feels more like you guys are showing me off rather than showing me around. That's right. We're parading around like this after all. Don't you all think so too? That Kei-chan is fitting right in here in Hinamizawa. The population in Hinamizawa is shrinking, so the villagers welcome anybody who's new here. I thought about brushing it off with something to the effect of, "You're kidding me," but I held back. Had I ever greeted someone who just moved into the city like this before? Thinking about that made me believe what they said wasn't a joke at all. We passed another person. Of course, we were called out to again the same way. Oh my, good day. It's wonderful seeing you getting along. This lady here is Fujishima-san. Fujishima-san. Good day. Oh my Maibara-kun, how wonderful for you, having a lovely girl on each arm. How are you? Getting used to life here? Instead of regurgitating a prepared response like I would have in the city, I responded with an emphatic nod. The old woman chuckled, voicing her appreciation of how energetic I was. Good. As I looked back over to Reina and Mion, They gave me a wink. So now then, about time to have lunch, maybe? Maybe? Reina's brilliant smile signaled the approach of an event that both Mion and I were trying to forget. We both looked at each other. I'm a man, I'll do what I can, but it's just too much. It's fine, K-chan, leave it to this old man. Mion has never seemed as reliable as she does right now. I'd expect no less from the class representative. Reina, if we're going to eat, we might as well go somewhere with a good view. Why, yes. Good idea, I agree. Reina nodded her head happily in response to Mion's proposal. Ooh, what do we got here? What? Oh boy. Cresting the top of a stone stairway, a shrine drawn straight out of my imagination appeared before us. It had worn down a bit through the years, but the fallen leaves had been swept up, giving it a tidy feeling. Oh, we got a little shrine going on there. Tidy feeling. This here is the Fruit Shrine. It's probably the place with the best view around. This place, be sure to remember it. On our next break, a festival will be held here. Ah, isn't it a bit too early in the season for a festival? The Watanagashi isn't a summer festival. Long ago, it used to be a celebration of the end of winter. I was embarrassed for assuming that festivals had to be held in the summer. Now then, spread out the lunchboxes, and there. Various colored lunchboxes were placed one after the other on top of the plastic sheet. It sure did smell delicious. It was Reina's home cooking. It went without saying that it would be delicious. But is it even possible to finish all of this? Hey Mion, it'll take more than just a good view to get this all down, you know. Good afternoon. It was Rika-chan and Satoko. Why are they here? Mion grinned over at me. I see, this was her secret plan, to power in numbers. You have my thanks, Mion. Following up when all the pieces are in place is my specialty. We just had to come since there was such a commotion. What is the meaning of this? Take a look. It's time for lunch. Buffet style. Buffet style. Oh man. A handmade gourmet meal by Reina. I can see that much. Why have you laid out a tarp on our property? The temple is public grounds, it's not yours. Keiichi is right. This is everyone's property. Wow. Rika-chan is such a good girl. Have a seat. Eat with us. After opening up a spot for Rika-chan, I promptly turned my back on Satoko. Hold on one second. Where is my spot? No spot for you and nothing for you to eat. But don't worry, there's some for you too. None. I'll eat all of hers. I will not allow that. Rika! Here, chopsticks. Both Satoko and I leapt at the boxes, having it out with each other. Man, really, Kei-chan, you're really good at leading people on. You might have a talent for this. Have a plate, one for Mi-chan and Rika-chan, too. Reina whipped out pairs of chopsticks and paper plates. If we don't hurry, it'll all be eaten up. That's right. Okay. Shall we commence this battle? Please eat a lot. There's enough for everyone, Reina said as she opened up a thermos. Just then I realized that this lunch was made under the assumption that 5 people would be eating. It didn't change how much there was, but the implication behind it was different. I will not allow you to have this hamburger. Oh, damn. Herc, using your elbow is against the rules, Satoko. Grabbing the back of my collar is also against the rules. It was a tough battle, blocking with her full momentum and an elbow in the opening moves. Satoko appeared to have the upper hand, but the difference in our proficiency with chopsticks proved to be fatal and gave me the upper hand. Ah, the last meatball! Satoko Hojo has been bested. No. Satoko and I amiably began choking at the same time, falling backwards and spasming. Rika-chan patted me on the head to clear it, even though it was actually stuck in my throat. Seeing that made Reina blush and breathe heavily in excitement. It was almost like flowers were floating all around her. Mian advised Reina to refrain from saying anything that could get her locked up. This is how our meals usually go. I do anything in my power, just so things could stay like this. The intense battle calmed, and finally everyone reached a point where they could begin talking. Receiving tea from the thermos, I let out a small sigh. I do wonder why there are so few words in Japanese to phrase how something tastes. Isn't it because the idea of togetherness during a meal didn't begin until the modern era? It seems that, long ago, people ate in silence. It must have made the people preparing the food a bit sad, don't you think? It's probably because back then the people were busy even while eating and didn't have the time to compliment the flavor. That's just you. But just hearing that is good makes me happy. That my effort was worth it, I mean. She blushed a little as she said that. It was delicious. With absolutely perfect timing, Rika-chan struck Reina directly with praise. She looked straight at her with an expression of bewitching innocence. After Reina uttered an unintelligible noise, a ring of smoke arose from her head with an audible poof. Oh, Rika-chan, I'm gonna take you home. No, I mean, thank you. It was really delicious. Reina flushed red with excitement, embracing Rika-chan and rubbing her cheek against her so hard you could almost hear it. To reward Rika-chan for her praise, ta-da! These are special. 2 apple rabbits. After sticking toothpicks into them, she thrust them toward Rika-chan. After Rika-chan accepted them, the mood suddenly shifted in a bizarre way. What the hell? What is it, Satoko? What's with that defiant look? Has everyone prepared proper praise to receive apples from Reina-san? Don't push yourself. What kind of praise can you think up with your weak vocab? Oh, well then. Allow me to show you. After Satoko flashed Mian and me a defiant look, she changed the tone of her voice suddenly. Hey! So, Reina One-chan's lunch? Satoko thought it was yummy too. Satoko looked up at her proudly while talking cutesy. What? How is that praise? That's not even persuasion by tears. That's persuasion by cuteness, isn't it? This is a Reina limited special skill. She blushed and her head spun, waving around in circles. Don't fall for it, Reina. Oh, how? Of course, that was asking for the impossible. Reina glommed Satoko and began rubbing her cheek against her. Cute. Satoko is so cute. Take you home. How? Swish. Stab. What the hell? Push. Satoko was also presented with apple rabbits. After stuffing them into her mouth, she looked over at Mion and me again with that defiant gaze. It took only 5 seconds to take down Reina. But that's unfair, to think she had just such a trick. If it upsets you so much, why not reward Reina-san with some praise? Damn it! That was a dirty trick. First of all, that wasn't even praise. Satoko, you think you've won with that, don't you? How about I show you guys something much better than your superficial gimmicks? That sounds great, Mion. What kind of trick is it? K-chan is going to be the one who does it. What? Ho ho ho, why don't I have you show me then? The ridding of an old maid. The plan of attack she suggested was wicked, but it was the only thing we had to beat Satoko. After sipping my tea, I started talking, very naturally and calmly. Perfectly. It really is good, isn't it? This is all freshly made, right? No. Actually, most of it, almost all of it, was frozen stuff. Then, which ones did you make fresh? Oh boy. Well... It's embarrassing. Do I really have to say, must I? From the synergy of boy plus handmade lunchbox, her expression had melted into euphoria. I already know. This one, right? Reina turned an even deeper shade of red. The words, "I can't believe it," practically written on her face. How can you tell? How, that I made it? Of course, Mion had told me beforehand. It's been perfect so far. After acting like I was shy, I waited a beat. Next would be the finisher. It had your smell. Silence enveloped the area. Reina, face still completely red, froze solid. With a small yelp, Satoko also blushed. Of course I did too. I sure would like to try one of Reina's handmade apple rabbits or something. Even if this was all because I was competing against Satoko, it felt like I had crossed the line by a good 9 yards, I think. Then, at that moment, whoosh! It was a Tupperware container filled with rabbits. Please eat some, Keiichi-kun. There's plenty for you. Heart? Instantly, dozens of the apples were shoved into my mouth, knocking me over. Okay, say, Keiichi-kun. My head was forcibly laid upon her lap, and even more apples were shoved into my mouth. While she was squealing, one apple after another was forced into my mouth. More and more apples. how him out. Looks like Heehan. How about them apples, Satoko? Looks like we win. K-chan, that was a beautiful sacrifice. How's that, Satoko? This is our complete victory, isn't it? I can't believe it. Such trickery. It doesn't bother me at all. Satoko ground her teeth, mortified. We did it. I claimed victory as my consciousness drifted slowly away from me. At that time, Reina stopped her squealing as she suddenly realized something. Rika-chan, you're not eating it? Did the salt water make it too strong, maybe? Maybe? Looking over, Rika-chan had pulled the toothpick out of the apple rabbit, placed it into her cupped hands, and seemed to be at a loss for what to do. Poor Mr. Rabbit. I feel sorry for him. I want to save him. Please. That was the sound of blood spurting from Reina's nose. Holy crap. Cute. Tonight I will take you home. She shook sporadically, her head wobbling back and forth. Oh boy, here we go again. Then, coming back to her senses, she took all of the apples around me, gathered them up with a flip, and fixed them back up on the plate. Now they're all just fine, Kay. Here, I'll give them to you, Rika-chan, Kay. Kay? Rika-chan raised up Satoko's hand like a referee after having that plate of rabbits shoved to her. She whispered, "This is our victory." What? A comeback? Has Hanu Heyo? I has Hanu Heyo. I just don't care anymore. Thus, my sacrifice ended up being in vain. So much for my pride. So much for that. Alrighty. Alright, what else? Alright. Let's see. I'm gonna end it here for now. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.